Hey everybody, welcome back to our series on finding your perfect offshore development team. This is part 2. We're going to talk about the different types of clients. We need to know what type of client you are so that we know what kind of vendor you're going to match with. Let's start with the big enterprise software clients. Just like the vendors, the enterprise clients are huge. These are companies with thousands of people. They have a huge convoluted process, a lot of middle management. These are companies like IBM, things like that, Fortune 500. If you are an enterprise client, then I'm sure you already know it. Enterprise clients usually need to go with enterprise vendors because they have their own management and they have their own kind of entrenched process, and they need a long time to ramp up and get it all worked out, and they have big teams and everything is very huge. So these are your big companies that are very, very stable, have giant long-term projects. The next step down from there are the mature clients with medium-sized projects. By mature, we mean clients who understand software and management. A medium-sized project is maybe $100,000 to say $500,000, maybe even as low as like 50 grand. But the key here is that the people know what they're doing technically. These are clients who have been offshore development clients before. Maybe they're ex-developers, maybe they were project managers, but they have some actual knowledge of software. They understand quality assurance and phasing and agile and requirements writing, whatever it is. And be sure to ask yourself the hard question, do you really have this experience? A lot of people say they have, but it takes a long time to learn the software game. If you know it and you have a medium-sized client, this is your category. These guys fit really well with the boutique and the medium-sized shops, the mid-levels, not the body shops, and the expat runs. Also, these are great candidates for the ODC, the Offshore Development Center. Okay, another type are the resellers. This is a very popular type. These are development shops that have overflow, and they want to hire someone to handle the overflow. For example, these are designers who do graphic design, but they can't do the tech. So they need to hire someone to do it and then resell their work. Marketing companies and SEO, anybody who is procuring software development services and reselling it to an end client is a reseller. If you're a reseller, there is a very large chance that you're dealing with things like deadlines and angry clients and budgets, fixed bids and things like that. So be sure to share with your vendor that that's the way you do business. Some of them are well equipped for it, and some of them aren't. Watch out for the process gaps if you're a reseller, and be sure that you have a good understanding how you do business and how this would look to an overseas team. Are they going to understand what you're doing, or do you need to invest in some more process communication, stuff like that? Next category is small business. These are the pretty small clients. These are your $10,000 clients, your $25,000 clients, maybe 50 grand, even down from $10,000, your $1,500 client, things like that. These are people like bloggers and bootstrap startups, and nonprofits, and anyone who has a little bit of money to do some software development, but not that much. You're a small client. This is a very, very tough category. It can be done. The biggest trick is to watch out for the bottom feeders because they're all over the place, and they are experts in winning business from very small clients who aren't that experienced in dealing with these projects. You also probably want to watch out for freelancers unless you find a really, really good one. Somebody that you know and trust or was referred. Freelancers can be great. Hiring people off the internet, Odesk, things like that can be very, very tough. And for a small client, by the time you realize that your freelancer maybe is not the one, you've burned a lot of money. What we do with a lot of small clients like this is we help them to work up their specification, write some wireframes, and pick the technical stack and get it all documented very nicely, throw it out on Elance and try to get some bids. We know a lot of vendors on Elance, but what we're really good at is filtering out the bottom feeders, because there are plenty of good companies on Elance that are just starting out, and a small client can do really well with them. So that's where we generally send our very small clients. Then there's the bottom feeding clients. Just like the bottom feeding vendors, these are the tiny clients. They're not spending much money. They don't really know what they're doing. They have unrealistic expectations, and they are the prey, the biggest prey of the bottom feeding vendors. Don't be a bottom feeding client. We can't really help you. When somebody calls and I can tell that they're on the bottom. We don't call them a bottom feeding client, but if we say you're priced out of the market, or I don't think you're going to realize your objective with your stated budget and time frame, then you may be a bottom feeding client and you are probably not going to succeed in this business. So again, why do we want to consider what type of client we are? The reason is because of the dating profile analogy. So we want to figure out exactly who we are. Now we know the types of clients and the types of vendors. So the best thing to do is for you to actually write it down and say, I am a startup with limited funds. I've got these technical abilities and the ability to manage. This is how much time I have. Here is how much time and money, and the deadline, the technical stack, and all the different things about yourself. How I like to work. Am I comfortable working with people from China, India, Vietnam, Argentina, Belarus, whatever it is? Write down as much as you can about yourself. Write your own profile, and that's what you're going to use to start your hunt. In the next section, we're going to talk about how to put that all together and take the client profile that you hopefully wrote down and figure out exactly what kind of vendor you're going to target, and that's going to make your search nice and easy. We'll see you in the next section.